Hello, everybody, and welcome on back to some Minecraft Musings. I'm A-Rye, and this is the new floating altar for, and it's got the secret little way up here. Because if you look at it, it's just floating above the water. So if you go back over here, it's just an emerald structure just floating on the water. Which I mean, it's got one piece dipping in the water. Otherwise, oh, maybe I could put a ladder. Actually, you know what? Let's get a ladder. That would look even better because then it's just like hovering on the water. But anyways, um, this the Learning Hub links performance across apps, gives a sort of electronic profile. That's it. That's the idea. And I did decide to go with Learning Hub because, let's face it, it is a great name. It does mean exactly what I mean it to mean. I mean the central hub of where you can keep track of how someone is performing across multiple applications. Now, this could be things like Math Blaster or Math Monster, and for the parents that don't have that much money to dedicate to that, there's a myriad of tools out there that are for any varying amounts of money, and there could even be a bare bones one that's just included, like the very basic one. So, and either way, and you can put awards. You could link awards to that. So what I do with my own kids is I have them do some stuff. I do some work or make it. Oh, how do I say that? Make a presentation about a concept or an idea or something. Usually in Scratch. We're just making Scratch programs all together because those are awesome. And if you can get them excited in that and modifying it and all that, they got a pretty good career in the future. Not that they can't otherwise, although that goes back to the whole, we're going to have to take away money markets at some point. So a lot of people are going to have new jobs. We really need to lower the cost of everything to next to nothing. And as long as you put in equal work or about equal, it doesn't have to be like strictly equal, but to the point where everybody can feel good about it, then the system will be good. So you gotta get rid of greed, gotta get rid of hoarding, all this stuff. But I mean, like I said, just make the cost of living super cheap so everybody can live like a king or a queen, and not have to worry about taking over an entire continent or conquering people or blah blah blah. So, anyways, I got sidetracked there. So that's an electronic portfolio for kids where they can, for any number of reasons. Like really, every kid should have that as part of their standard education growing up. They should just have a basic set of games and puzzles that they do that will help them understand what they're trying to learn in school. So, and you can gamify all of it. Like it is like Math Blaster. It was such a great game growing up, and that was back when we were still using computers that used the floppy disks like the size of pancakes, like the big floppies, not the little ones that the save icon is made after, the even bigger floppies that were only around for a little bit that yeah, I used it in school, I think in like first grade, and they were really old computers, and they were trying to get new ones. They used the little disks, the like hard but still technically floppy disks. So because then there's also the spinning disk, which was a round disk, which I guess the floppy disks were also round if you looked at the inside piece. It was like a little round, like an actual pancake shaped looking thing, but it had a square encasing that would protect it from scratches and whatnot and getting dust on it. And anyways, we've come a long way, a very long way. That's actually kind of a concern too, is how do we store all the information to get back to this point should a global disaster hit, like if some extinction event or something, or how do we write on caves to tell any survivors that want to rebuild society how to rebuild a computer or this stuff. I don't know. We'll try to address that at some point, but for now, how do we get it to where everybody can have a good life, enjoy their life? Um, see, it's just full up on stuff. And how do we make it sustainable too? Like you can't just give everyone an equal footing and then expect them to go. Like you have to have teaching, training, instruction. That's why a lot of times that people with a different parental situation kind of struggle a little more. If you didn't have a dad or a mom growing up, or if you didn't have either parents, or whatever the case may be, it's let's see, what are we even trying to do? A ladder, yes. We need sticks, which I think I just got. Oh no, I still have some wood, so let's make some sticks. Okay, and make some ladders. So a ladder we could probably have on each of the sides and still make it look okay. Oh, must be time to get to work. Everybody go to your work. So, anyways, this is just kind of like a reminder. So, if I ever get sidetracked or whatever, and like I have some free time, that's what I'm going to try to work on. And I've already started thinking about the concepts. Like, you need to have a database of sorts that is read only, um, that's forward facing. The access to the editable database needs to be under lock and key because otherwise, I mean, there could be a lot of cheating going on. And granted, people at that level probably not, but I don't know. Like, there you go. So now, coming from any side, you can come and read the knowledge. I almost wonder if it should be facing the other way. Ah, the slight drift is such a minor annoyance, but it's still an annoyance. All right, anyways, so yeah, thinking about how that would work. So you'd have to have access to some kind of place where, and you need authorization to be able to view scores of certain people, unless you know usernames. And then if you're okay with that level of ambiguity, that would be okay, but I think it would be on like a parent by parent basis, what their kid would be, or what they would be comfortable with for their kid. So, but if it was something to where, and I'm sure stuff like this exists. I know there's all sorts of math programs and school districts are using different things, and I don't know. And even when I was looking on just the App Store for Mac products, like there seemed to be a decent amount of stuff, but it was expensive, like $60 for a year, and if you forget, then that lapses over for another year. I mean, $60 is like the same price as a full, like a brand new game for Xbox or PlayStation. That's a ridiculous. I mean, now they're getting up to be like 80 to 100, but still, like, oh man, it's a lot of money. I mean, granted, your education, like how you put price on it and blah blah blah, but unless you made that educational game as good as Call of Duty, it's not worth 50, $60. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, that's ugh. I mean, but I get it. People are trying to make a living, and that's where we still, and I keep coming back to this, we need to reduce the cost of living to almost next to nothing. That way people can get the tech that they need, enjoy the lives that they want, and not have to worry about like not being able to have enough. Like have enough to live, and you still have to work. Like everybody's got to work and do their job. Like nobody gets a free ride, but that's also often a misunderstanding. Like nobody is out there getting completely free rides. Like there might be people that are kind of gaming a system temporarily, or but like you just cannot possibly exist without some kind of work, without some kind of career, without some kind of income. And then even that, legal or otherwise, and of course it doesn't last long if it's illegal. You get busted pretty quick. Like it's not like the movies where you can become like a super, well, whatever. We won't go down that road, but anyways, yeah. Contributions to humanity or your fellow people or whatever. Like something beneficial. You got to be doing your part. So, I don't know. But anyways, Learning Hub. That's a great thing. Just to kind of like get a pulse of where your kid's learning is at. Like you can see, like at a glance, you can see the grades and different things, or just really accomplishments, skill badges, kind of like we do now. You've got for Salesforce training, there's the trailheads, which, and I need to invest some more time in that. But for someone who's looking for a job, that's really useful and that's impressive to hiring managers. Same with Code Wars and Coding Game. I say that a bunch on here because it's true. Like, I mean, if you can do good and get some pretty high scores on those, that shows that you understand different algorithms, like how code works, all these different challenges and just examples, and they can sift through them and be like, oh, okay, so they understand this, and in their mind, they're planning out, okay, well, we're about to make this product that's probably going to use X, Y, and Z. Like, it's going to have a higher amount of users with this level of protection needs for their data and so on. Like they're constantly thinking about this when they're trying to hire a new person. Same with, well, and for kids, it's just good to have everybody on like as even footing as possible because the biggest source of bullying and like violence in the schools comes from and same thing, Columbine, the shooting that happened in Colorado. If you look at the backstory, Harrison, Klebold, or whatever their names were, the kids that shot up the school in Columbine, um, they were picked on. They were generally not popular. They struggled. They had like maybe harder lives or whatever. I mean, it doesn't justify mass violence like that, but if you're gonna fix it from happening in the future, you got to kind of look back and see, okay, and oh man, we fill up quick. Let's actually move so we can keep track of it. Alright, but anyways, so I wanted to do that, just like a little shrine like that. That's just one like now. I was like, what could I use? What block do I have? And I looked at my inventory and I had, oh, I have a bunch of diamond or emerald blocks. And emerald blocks are really easy to come by because we have tons of melons. But for now, oh man, we need to. I got an idea. First, we need a place to deposit all this nonsense, and we're not going to get it. This is like a problem in computer science. You can't just swap two variables because when you turn one variable into another value, you lose what that was. So, like, it's like trying to pick yourself up in a box while standing in the box. Like, you gotta step out of the box, pick up the box, and so on. Or if you wanted, like, this to be here. Oh, yeah, here we go. This example. So, this 40, we need to move to the 56. Now, here, it actually allows, like, normally you'd have to like take this, move it over to an empty space, whoops, an empty space, and this one over here, then this one there. Because if you put this here, that now saves it as 40, and then we just lost whatever was under here. I know it's a pumpkin, and I know it was a pumpkin, but I don't know how much. And see how easy that happens? So if you override it, and now granted Minecraft isn't the best example because the cursor is a swap space. So as I assign this value to that, I'm actually trading it for this value. And now the cursor is a place to store the data. I mean, it's moving around, but see, like we have it. So if I got up, went and got a glass of water, or whatever, I would come back and I would still have this 56 stored right here in the cursor. So, anyways, that's just one of the many things. And like doing those challenges on Coding Game and Code Wars, you cover stuff like that, like just little things that you would learn in for a degree. I don't know. I got way sidetracked there. But anyways, for general math and science and all that, I mean, it's really easy to gamify that stuff. In fact, science seems like a game to a lot of people. That's why, people that like science, like because it is one giant game, and then the rules constantly keep changing, and then it's like, oh, and it's like just seeing how things like the results, be like, oh, okay, and that makes sense, or oh, wow, that was unexpected. I didn't think that, and that's becoming harder to do too. Like since kids have such great technology, they're just surrounded by the scientific method and like especially behavioral. Like that's all TikTok and social media are and YouTube. Like it's just people explaining human nature to each other and then mocking it most of the time, making it funny. Um, and that's all comedy really is just like observations of things that seem pretty peculiar or unusual, and then making a joke out of it, like making increasing the significance, magnifying it, all that. Hold on. See, I was just thinking maybe we should do another half one because I don't really have enough profound thoughts to really stretch this to 30. I mean, we are going to keep building stuff. We got the shrine, a lot of stuff like that. Like you could do better to listen to ocean sounds or something. It's a little more soothing for meditation stuff. Take a look at, yeah, I added that because I feel like the villager was continuing to risk being burned. Like first I had to put those stones, but then the villager was jumping up on the stone. Like, alright, so I put the glass there. And of course this shrine altar, it's going to be like a mausoleum and a temple to all the observations that I've had. The life or death, the severe observations, are the most significant ones. If you want to just, keep from dying, stay living. The best of the best advice, which unfortunately, and that's why it's going to be part mausoleum because we'll just use their initials, we won't use their names, but it's all the people that I've known that have died and the ways that they died or what the factors leading up to said death, and things to avoid. Biggest thing alcoholism and poverty. So if you can avoid poverty, which is why I say alcoholism or even just alcohol in general, it's because that's a very sneaky one that a lot of people don't realize is so expensive, both in your time, your actual money, opportunity costs, like what you could have done with your time if you weren't hungover, and all this stuff, which a lot of people find out when they go to college. Like they're like, "Woo, finally a chance to party and let loose and everything all my parents didn't want me to do." And then it's like, "Oh wow, now I see why they didn't want me doing this all the time, or at least like at all, because I mean you're not supposed to let your kid do, drink or do drugs or anything like that or party or like, oh, and not saying, oh, jeez, see, I got gonna be tied up with all of that. Yeah, a half episode is good because I kind of want to move on to. I mean, I want to kind of zone out and do some of this stuff. Like that's been the same way for quite a few episodes. That's still, but I'm also kind of feeling some Fortnite, just some senseless violence. I might videotape it, I might not. We'll see. I feel like it's when I don't videotape. That's when I get like the crown victory royales and stuff. Where I just get really lucky, and I know a lot of it's bots too. Like I know I'm not like the best player out there by far. I'm actually pretty sloppy. So, oh, we need to make a greenhouse with all those plants. That's what I was trying to do. So I might do that. Kind of do some item sorting. Maybe even run another layer of chests. I mean, 'cause how hard would that be? Do we have any? Yes. So if we do one of those, there we go. And just like that, we fix the storage problem by doubling the storage. There you go. Although it's now kind of a wall of sorts, but yeah, whatever. Small price to pay to be able to just dump everything on this. So there you go. Not thinking about it, just boom. All right, yeah, I'm gonna go murk some people on Fortnite. But the important thing is that's now one of the. I mean, it already has been. Like I've got a few projects on CodePen.io um, that are Arco. They're named Arco basically, and they're just like stubs, but they're little website projects that I was gonna do to teach very basic things. Like I've got the JavaScript to split a site into like 5 or 6 different categories, and with each category is a different theme. So you have like difficulty levels. So and I think I did it like different insects or animals or something. Or no, I did it walking, running, motion. So first it was like crawl, and then or crawl, walk, jog, run, saunter. I don't know, something like that, but increased difficulty for the action. And just kind of like a person. Like you start by crawling, and then before you walk, you got to crawl, and you got to learn the basics first. And then I was going to do that with math and science, and just make it a basic. And I was also, well, I'm still doing that. I'm working with one of my colleagues that we're going to outline just about everything that Colorado public education wants to cover, every last thing. And it's going to be a huge task, but I mean, look at that. Like we literally built a skyscraper in Minecraft. I mean, it's only about halfway done, but still, like, we can do some amazing things. We can build an application that does all of that, that tests someone or trains someone on, in fact, maybe even that. Maybe each one of these levels, we could house some ideas for what to do. Or even that could be like the grade levels too, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 almost right now. So already that's plenty to do the grades 1 through 12 of public education. And even that, I think for certain subjects, they kind of group them together. Like within these few years, you should learn all of this stuff. So kind of like add some leeway and some wiggle room. So that way it's a little more forgiving if someone doesn't learn every exact thing on the list. So, so yeah. So I'm gonna do that. Um, actually, maybe do some more laundry. You might have heard last episode I had the laundry going, but really got to take this time to catch up on all the chores for the week before I go to work tomorrow, or quote unquote go to work. I love it. Like I almost always get to choose. Like, do I want to work from home today or do I want to work in the office? So, anyways, ta ta for now. We'll let you out early. Reclaim some of your time. talk to you later. See you in the next one.